Hi guys. Are you planning on getting into Christ University but feeling a bit overwhelmed by the selection process? In this video, we'll be covering group discussions, personal interview, micro presentations, verbal and written assessments. With this, you'll get a detailed understanding of what the process is like at Christ. So whether you're preparing for the process or just curious about how things are, this video is for you. Let's get started. Now let's understand eligibility. These are the scores accepted by the university and these are the cutoffs required for each. Let's understand eligibility with an example. For the sake of explanation, I'm taking math as an example, and you scored around 600, which is the minimum marks required to apply. Now your friend scored around 700 and that's around 100 plus your marks, right? Is your friend at an advantage compared to you for the selection process? No. No is the answer. You are equally eligible to apply for the process. The selection is completely dependent on the selection criteria set by the university, which is all the GDPI, MP, verbal and written assessments, and one more element that I will be discussing towards the end. So I hope that is clear, and now let's move on to the major part. Back when we had the process, it was a little more simplified. We had only three elements: group discussion, PI, and micro presentation. And one more change or the difference was that it was online for us, majorly due to COVID. So I just wanted to give a then versus now perspective as well before moving on to the group discussion side. Group discussions. This is where you get to exhibit your teamwork skills, your critical thinking and communication as well. But where do I get started? My suggestion is go to your micro presentation topics. We have 75 this time. I will also link it in the description so you can access it easier. So if you prepare for your MPs right, you effectively have 75 GD topics as well. So even in the previous video I mentioned that these are GD worthy topics and there is a high chance that they're going to reuse this for your group discussions as well. So that's a great start. Another one to keep in mind is while delivering your points, use facts and numbers, and that too combined with the sources of it. I'll give an example. Let's say your point is this: a lot of Indians behave a certain way, and let's try to make it better. 86% of Indians behave this way according to a Mint article. I think if not the best, it's better version than the previous one, right? Yeah, so that's another hack. And while in a discussion, try to be an active listener. Often what happens is that we'll be very much worried about what we have to say and we forget about what the discussion is about or what is happening within the group. Try not to be that. Be an active listener. You'll get a lot of good points while being part of this GD. So listen actively and build your points on top of their points. It's a very impactful approach. And let's say it's a very scary situation to be. Let's say you don't know anything about the topic that they've given, and now you have to have a discussion on that. In such instances, let someone else start the discussion, of course, and for the first round, let everyone speak. Take a back seat, let them go once, and now you know. I think by now you'll have to know, otherwise you are in trouble. So in the first round itself, you'll get an idea of what they're talking about. If not the actual term or the topic of discussion, you now know what it is circling around, the discussion is circling around, right? So that helps you get started with your points and your contribution to the discussion. That's another hack. Then stay on track. I'll give an example. The topic of discussion was on AI and how it's taking away our jobs. And someone made the point on data security and it's not that secure in India, linking it to AI. And someone else is like, since they talked about India, he is blaming it on the government, and the next person from government is going to politics. You got the idea, right? So the topic was on AI and everything, but it's now something else. In this is an opportunity. Identify it. If you have to interrupt the discussion, do it, and bring them back to the topic, and also add your point as well. That creates another good impact. Next one. Should you start the GD? If you are very confident with the topic, go ahead, start. Otherwise, it's still all right. Even if you're not starting, it's all about the confidence with which you speak. It's completely all right. Keep in mind that if you are starting, give a proper introduction, like, hey everyone, good morning, and this is the topic of discussion for us today, and this is my take on it. That's a very subtle but all rightish start. Alright, you got the idea, right? Next one is conclusion. Should you conclude the discussion? Let's see. So if you've contributed 4 times or more in the discussion, I don't think I think you should give the conclusion to someone else, because you spoke a lot then. On the other end, if you spoke for only like twice or thrice in the discussion, and you think that there is something more that you can add to the table, go ahead, do the conclusion. Now mind that this is not a place where you can reiterate on your points again. More like summarize what the discussion was about, what the group agreed on or disagreed on, right? So that's the conclusion part of GD, and a little more about GD, maybe body language. Yeah, while making your points, try to be respectful and try not to be rude to others. It's a fine line. It's actually a group discussion can take the form of a debate as well, right? So handle it right. While you point at your teammates or the group members, do not use an index finger to point. Use open hand gestures, like like this. I like the way you structured your point, and I disagree with you, and all of that, something like that. All right. So yeah, that's something about group discussion. All right, micro presentations. You've got 90 seconds to talk about the topic that they select, and the topics are already given that we've already discussed in the previous parts as well. So make sure that you prepare all the 75 topics pretty well. Now, how to prepare is what I'll try to address here. Go by each topic, make 5 bullet points out of it, and try to speak just based on these 5 bullet points. That's it. And you just cannot carry a paper along with you while presenting, and nothing like that. So it's just as a reference for each point or for each topic. These 5 points should be like a reference at the back of your head. That's the best start to prepare for micro presentations. And the next tip would be keep the introduction and conclusion like very, very, very short, because again, only 90 seconds we have, right? So if you take a lot of time for the introduction and conclusion, it's the core part of it is gone. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. And again, come with a lot of facts and statistics and sources even in while presenting. Yeah, I think that's it. Time wise, let's say 90 seconds exact is like pretty difficult, right? So let's go for like 90 plus or minus 10 seconds. That's a sweet spot. And yeah, if you do not know the topic, how to handle that. Since we had it along with interview, it was comfortable for us to ask for a change, and it's completely up to them whether to approve the request or not. But this time I wouldn't suggest the same because you are still in a group setting, and let's just go with whatever they give you. Be ready to talk about it, and the scope is defined. It's out of the 75 topics. You should be ready with it, right? So now I would say, if you do not know the topic, give it a try, but be ready with all the topics so you're not faced with such a situation. All right. Next is written assessment. This is a new component for me. Back then, when we were giving the process, it was not there. You'll be given 10 minutes to write your thoughts on a topic constrained within one A4 sheet. Again, I'll go back to micro presentation topics. So that's like the base for everything. This time, pick the top 10 most difficult topics for you. And by now you'll be having the skeleton like 5 bullet points for each, right? Write on top of these 5 bullet points, elaborate on that. It's all about practice. Maybe do at least 2 topics a day, and time your writing as well. Make sure it's within 10 minutes. I think it's 10 minutes to write one sheet. It's a lot of time, I guess. So time is not such a big concern. Anyway, go ahead, time is writing as well. But here the idea is how well you write, how good the content is. So again, bring back facts and sources and numbers. Originality is the key. Awesome. Next is on verbal assessment and personal interview. Verbal assessment is a new component for me, so I don't know much about that. For us, it was PI with MP, but I'm assuming that it will be an integral part of PI itself, the interview itself. So you'll be judged in the background on how you reason, how you interpret stuff, and then how you articulate your thoughts. This is my assumption. Please do your research before going ahead with your preparations. Alright. Now from the personal interview point, greet the interview panel, smile, maintain a good posture, listen to them carefully, to the questions carefully. Do not rush with your answers, pause and then respond. Towards the end, you'll be given a window where they'll ask, do you have any questions for us? Please grab the opportunity, say yes. And my question was, I heard that Christ is a bit strict. Is it true? So it was a fun moment, but still a relevant question, right? So one question you can ask is, do you have any feedback for me? They will give a feedback, and which can be a glimpse of what the outcome looks like, whether you got in, are you getting in or not, or maybe a regular feedback for your future. That's that. So that's verbal assessment and personal interview. There is one more selection criteria that you should be aware of, which is your past academic performance, your 10th, plus 2 and the undergrad degree. But what I feel is like you've come so far and you're gonna appear for the GDPI and all, right? So this is beyond your control. It's done is done. So focus on things that you have control over, like whatever the 5 topics that we discussed before this part. So yeah, just focus on that, but just know that this is also another selection criteria. It's mentioned on their website. Now guys, since you stayed with me this far, here are some bonus tips for you. First, the body language. Be open, confident, but there is a thin line between confidence and arrogance. So be careful with that. The second one is respect. Respect for your professors and candidates as well, whoever is showing up there. And that brings us to the third point, which is networking. See the people that you're meeting as your future network. So be it your classmates or a random candidate. I am in touch with some of the folks that I met that day who eventually took up admission somewhere else, but we are still in touch. So it's great with respect to networking. And let's talk about the attire. What should I wear? Dress formally. For guys or girls, light colored shirts, dark colored trousers would work. For guys, it's alright if you want to wear a tie, but just make sure that If you think it's formal, it's formal. That's it. And full sleeve is appreciated. I had a habit of like folding it up, so it's not that great. But full sleeve is would be a better option. So and then a well groomed appearance would make a great impression. So that's that. Well, guys, I hope that gave you a better clarity on what to expect and what the selection process is at Christ. If you have any more questions, drop it in the comments, and also make use of comment section more like a networking opportunity, connect with people. And it would be great if you could like and subscribe as well. And yeah, best of luck for your journey. Make it count. See you in the next one. Thank you.